After close to 2 decades in municipal politics, including 8 years as mayor, Tom Laughren has decided the time has come to move on to other opportunities and will be leaving his office at City Hall following the municipal election of October 27th. He joined Speaking of Timmins today as our first ever guest to discuss his career in politics and reminisce about the many successes and challenges that he has endured as one of the more popular councillors and mayors in the history of Timmins. I'm Frank Rock, and welcome to Speaking of Timmins. I'd now like to get a little bit retrospective with you, if you don't mind, Mayor Tom. What was your proudest single accomplishment as mayor?
Oh, I think, you know what, I've never had those kind of aspirations. I've always been the guy that every time we do something good, I just continue to smile and move on.
Okay.
So I think, you know, if I was to say, my open door policy, the opportunity to meet many great people, my ability to be able to work with others, including different levels of government, respect, experience, but to pin on one project or one thing, I'd have to really think about that, but it's never really been a focus of Tom Laughren.
From the other end of the spectrum, if you could go back through your years as mayor and get one do-over, something that you'd like to go back and start over or change the way it was handled, what would it be?
Well, I think I described it a little earlier. I think on the secondary sewage treatment plant where we confused people was, the difference between the actual building of a new plant versus the tie-in. So, I would have divided that project into two. From a funding perspective mechanism, it didn't make sense at the time, but now that I have more time to think about it, all the different presentations we've made, it wouldn't change the numbers because we'd be still in the same spot we are looking for government funding.
Mm-hmm.
But I think it would have made it easier for the general public to understand. And obviously, rumors or coffee shop talk, you can't change that. And we've had that, that discussion many times. But,
Yep.
I'm always going to be around in the community, between now and election. If somebody really wants a better explanation, a more detailed explanation than what I just gave, I'm more than willing to do that as well.
I'd like to take a couple of quick minutes so we could go back and touch upon the Shania Twain Centre, so you could perhaps share with our viewers what you feel happened with that attraction and why it never really achieved the level of success that had been anticipated when the attraction itself was first constructed.
Well, I think it really comes down to, at the start of it, there was never community buy-in. So I think when you look at the opportunity and the possibility, I think that was always there. I think, we had a local population that in majority did not support it. But, in saying that, it was probably one of the toughest decisions I've ever had to make around the council's table because I was passionate about the gold mine tour and what was happening at the Shania Twain Centre, and I always thought that there was a lot more opportunity that we didn't take advantage of. And that's tough when you don't have buy-in from locals. But I think had the sale with Goldcorp not gone through, I think the city council administration and maybe the public in general was really thinking about how could we repurpose specifically the Shania Twain Centre, but the whole site.
Yep.
And I think I think around the council table there was support for that. But, when the opportunity came up with Goldcorp, and, I think that probably took that decision away. But I think had that not happened, we were committed to make it work. And I think, if you look around the province, there's many of these type of facilities that have failed. And I think it's because of the buy-in part.
So we're going to take a few minutes now for some rapid-fire questions. And the first question, which was submitted through Facebook by a member of the public, is, what is your favorite title, Grandpa or Mayor?
Grandpa.
If you could go out and have dinner with 3 individuals that are still living that you've never met before, who would they be?
Oh, I think I would love to go out with Wayne Gretzky, Mario Lemieux, and I'm going to say one of my football faves, Brett Favre.
Who was the most interesting celebrity or politician that you met while you were mayor?
I'm going to say celebrity and Shania Twain. She was so dedicated to what she does, and the community of Timmins, she's somebody who definitely touched my heart for sure.
And any politicians you met that after you met them, you said, wow, I mean, I wasn't expecting that?
You know what? I went to school with a guy named Jim Prentice, and he impresses me every time I speak to him. But one other guy who's always impressed me because of his hard work and dedication is Minister Michael Gravel.
Okay. Are you from Timmins or are you from Porcupine?
You know what? I grew up in Schumacher, but it's Timmins. That's where we live, and that's the city name we go by. And we're fortunate that we've got a lot of history from this community that we can still recognize the Porcupines and the Schumachers. But we're from the city of Timmins.
What do you have planned for Monday nights, starting in about a month or so?
Well, I've always used to go out and do Special Olympic speed skating, and my youngest daughter Kylie is coaching it. So on Monday nights, at least to start, I'll do an hour of that for sure.
So 20 years from now, when people are at a local coffee shop reminiscing about Tom Laughren and his years as mayor, what do you hope they'll be saying about you?
He did the best he could with what he had at the time, and it's something that has helped the community to grow to make that next 20 years.
One last question for you, Mayor Tom. If you had 5 minutes to spend with Todd Lever or Steve Black or Alan Manchester, what advice would you give them and what wisdom would you share with them about being the mayor of the city of Timmins?
Well, you've got to really improve your listening skills because it's not all about you as the mayor. You have to be somebody who's respectful for different levels of government, and you have to really be able to work with administration. For the mayor to be arguing with administration at a council meeting, um, that just doesn't fly, and so you've got to be able to give confidence to the community, and you've got to have that steady hand because I think people will probably recognize and remember when they think about fires and floods and how we handled those. As a mayor, you need to, and that doesn't come natural. You need to learn it, and you need to definitely listen and work with people.
Well, that concludes our three-part exclusive interview with Mayor Tom Laughren to launch Speaking of Timmins. Join us next week as we have exclusive interviews with two candidates for mayor, Todd Lever and Steve Black. My name is Frank Rock, and this is Speaking of Timmins. Mayor Tom, I'd like to thank you for having taken the time to do this exclusive interview to help us launch Speaking of Timmins. And I wanted to wish you nothing but the best over the coming years as you step into the next phase of your career. Thank you once again, and I hope our viewers enjoy this interview as much as I enjoyed having the conversation with you.
Hey, I'm looking forward to working in Timmins, staying in Timmins, and doing whatever I can to help Timmins. So I thank you. I wish you all the best of luck, and I again always thank media and these type of opportunities because without them, we don't get the right message to people either. So thank you.
Okay, thanks a lot, Tom. I appreciate it, okay?
You take care.
Okay, take care, Tom. Bye.